Hey everyone, you ever wonder what really makes a business small versus medium? It's not just a gut feeling, you know? There's a whole official system behind it. And today, we're going to break it all down. We're decoding the official guide to classifying every single small and medium enterprise, or SME. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so you've got this awesome business idea, right? But what is it exactly? Is it a tiny micro business? A small shop? Maybe even a medium-sized company? How do you actually know? And trust me, figuring this out is way more than just picking a label. It could literally be the key that unlocks your business's future.
All right, here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to figure out what an SME actually is. Then we'll unpack this thing called the business pyramid. After that, we'll see how the rules are different depending on your industry. We'll even look at what these businesses tend to look like in the real world. And finally, the most important part, how knowing all this helps you get actual real-world help.
Okay, let's kick things off with the absolute basics. In Malaysia, what we call SMEs are officially known as PKS. That's for Perusahaan Kecil dan Sederhana. So, what's the magic formula? What's the official definition?
Believe it or not, it all boils down to just one of two things. That's it. Either your annual sales or your total number of employees. And I really want you to focus on that word or. It's so important. You don't need to hit both marks. You just need to meet one of those criteria and you're in. Whichever one you hit first, that's what counts.
So how do these two measures, sales and employees, actually work in practice? Well, the answer is in this really simple but super powerful visual. Let's pull back the curtain and unpack the business pyramid that makes everything crystal clear.
And here it is, this pyramid. This is the official playbook. It sorts every business into one of three main levels: micro, kecil, and sederhana. Every single SME in the country has a spot somewhere on this chart. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up.
Right, we're starting at the very foundation of the pyramid, with the micro or micro enterprise. Think of these as the bedrock of the whole business ecosystem. We're talking about the smallest of the small operations here.
So what does it take to be micro? Well, the first yardstick is your annual sales. If your business is making less than 300,000 ringgit a year, congratulations, you're a micro enterprise.
But wait, remember that magic word we talked about? Or, let's say you make a little more than that in sales. You can still be a micro enterprise if you have fewer than 5 full-time employees. See how that works? One or the other. It's that simple.
All right, let's climb one step up the pyramid. Next, we've got kecil, which means small enterprises. These are the businesses that have graduated from that micro stage. They're established, they're growing, and they're really starting to hit their stride.
And at the very top of the SME pyramid, we have sederhana, or medium enterprises. Now these are the heavy hitters of the SME world. They're larger, more established, and making a real impact. But, and this is a big but, to get the exact numbers for what makes a business small or medium, we need to look at one more really important detail.
And here's the twist. The rules for what counts as small and medium aren't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It just wouldn't be fair, right? I mean, think about it. What's considered a small factory is going to be wildly different from what we'd call a small coffee shop.
So, to keep things fair and make sense in the real world, the government splits the criteria into two big buckets: manufacturing on one side and then services and all the other sectors on the other. And getting this distinction right is absolutely crucial. Let's actually put them side by side so you can see. You've got pembuatan, or manufacturing. These are the folks who are physically making things, creating new products. And then you have perkhidmatan and sector line, which is basically services and everything else. It's a huge category that covers retail, IT, construction, farming, you name it.
Okay, now check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at how different these numbers are. For a small business in manufacturing, you can have sales all the way up to 15 million ringgit, or have up to 75 employees. But if you're in services, that same small category tops out at just 3 million in sales, or less than 30 employees. It's a huge difference. And you see the same gap in the medium category. A factory can have 200 employees and still be a medium enterprise, but a service company maxes out at 75. This just goes to show you, knowing your sector isn't just a small detail, it's everything.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the numbers, but what do these businesses actually look like in the real world? Let's go beyond the stats and talk about the common face of an SME.
So, if you walk into a typical SME, what's the vibe?
Well, a lot of the time, they're family-run, built from the ground up. They often start out with less cash in the bank, so they might be more about elbow grease than fancy, high-tech gadgets. And their location? It's usually more about being practical than prestigious. These are the human details that really bring those definitions on the pyramid to life.
Okay, so at this point you might be thinking, this is all interesting, but why does it matter so much? Why do we need to obsess over this pyramid? Well, here's the bottom line. Your official category, it's like your passport to getting help.
Knowing exactly where you stand, whether you're micro, small, or medium, is the absolute first step. It's the key that unlocks the door to a ton of government support. Things like grants, special loans, training, all these programs that are built just to help businesses like yours get to the next level.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. If you go to a resource like the SME Info portal, you'll see that everything is organized by these exact classifications. The development programs are targeted specifically at, say, micro businesses or small businesses in manufacturing. If you don't know which box you tick, you literally can't even apply. You can't even get past the front door.
So there you have it. You've got the whole framework now. You know the 2 key metrics, sales or employees. You know the 3 tiers, Micro, Kachil, and Sadarhana. And you understand that all-important split between different business sectors. So the only real question left to ask is, where on this pyramid does your business, or maybe that big idea you've been dreaming about, where does it all begin?